This is Support is Sexy, episode 14, with Whole Clarity and Head Game Pro founder, Connie DaSilva. Welcome to the Support is Sexy podcast. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, producer, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I talk to women entrepreneurs who share their journeys and the true stories of their wins and their lessons, and give you insight and inspiration to take your business and your life to the next level. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I am so happy that you're here because, as you know, it just would not be the same without you. So today we are welcoming my friend Connie DaSilva. Connie is all about making women feel good inside and out. In 2012, she launched her fabulous natural skincare line, Whole Clarity, which, by the way, has a deodorant and a coconut pulling oil that I swear by. You have to try it. WholeClarity.com. There you go. The handmade line is also a frequent seller on Amazon. And now in 2016, Connie launched her latest venture, Head Game Pro, which is just so fun. I just love this idea. And Head Game Pro serves as a coaching program that really creates a space for women to be sexually empowered. And Connie goes into exactly what's a part of that program and her own experiences as a Head Game Pro, so to speak. So, if you're listening with little ones around, maybe you want to put your earbuds on. Nothing gets too graphic, but it is a discussion about sexual pleasure, sexual confidence, being empowered in the bedroom and beyond. So wanted to warn you about that. It's a lot of fun though. And I know you're going to get a lot out of this episode. In addition to hearing about that, you'll hear about the importance of sharing your ideas with the world so that people can show up and support you, people, opportunities, whatever that is. When you have an idea, Connie says, write them down. We've heard this dozens of times, right? If not more, from some of everybody, but it's important to keep pounding it home for all of us, the importance and power, really, of writing down things that you want to accomplish. Also, I love that Connie says something about asking empowering questions. So instead of asking why something has happened, Connie says she always makes sure to ask, how can I figure this out? What am I going to do next? Where can I get the support I need? Empowering questions. The other thing she talks about is her experience with selling on Amazon. So for any of you considering that, if you have a product, if you're thinking about doing it, if you hadn't thought about it before, this might be an opportunity for you to consider it. Connie tells us the ups and downs of doing that and the key thing that she did to help her completely turn her business around on Amazon. The last thing, she talks about a lot of other things, but one of the last things that she talks about is the importance of being ready to scale. That's something that as solopreneurs especially is hard for us to get our minds around sometimes, but it's important to be able to think about that and have that in mind and to have a strategy in place. Tons of good stuff in this episode. Not going to hold you up any longer. Without further ado, Connie DaSilva. So Connie, thank you so much for joining us today on Support is Sexy.
Hell yeah, I'm so happy to be here.
Great. So I have to ask you the question I ask everyone. When did you first fall in love with entrepreneurship?
I have been an entrepreneur for 5 years, and I really fell in love when my first company was a fashion styling company, and I worked doing private styling and visual merchandising and producing runway shows. And so when I left my full-time job to fully do that, and it was like that first day, I think that was when I really fell in love. I realized nobody's waiting for me. Nobody is concerned
I control
in
my
show.
own time.
Yeah. And I was really, really, really excited by that. So
what made you leave to do that full time, make that transition? Was it just
timing. I had just graduated from Fashion Careers College with a degree in fashion styling. So it was like, hey, you can go use this now, and here's an opportunity to do it. I was able to sign one client to pay all my bills, and I felt secure leaving my full-time job. So without that happening, I probably would have held on for a while, but universe was watching out. So.
Right, exactly. So where did you grow up?
I was born in Duluth, Minnesota.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't tell very many people.
I know. I don't know why I was thinking you were a Cali girl.
Because I grew up mostly in California from 11 until 27. So, yeah.
Who were your influences growing up?
Um, for business
Your greatest
or,
influences overall when you were younger?
um, I would have to say my parents were huge influences on me. They were extremely religious. So we grew up in a very strict household, my sisters and I. For a while, I didn't appreciate what that meant for us. But then when I turned 18 and I got married myself and went out into the real world, I discovered like, wow, they really did an amazing job raising me and my sisters. We're all three very successful, balanced, like great people. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a huge influence. My dad always just worked a regular job, but he had an entrepreneurial spirit. So they were very supportive in everything that I ever wanted to do.
Now, is getting married at 18 something that was a part of your religious upbringing? Is it sort of what people did, or
No, that was,
that was your
yes,
thing?
it was what people did. Like you go and find a husband and start having children. But I did it just because my parents were getting divorced and there was a lot happening and shifting and changing. And, I used that for some security and balance in life, which, divorce 6 years later, it got me through.
Mm-hmm.
It did the trick, but probably not the smartest move to get married right out of high school.
Now, after you were in college, though, after you went to the Fashion Careers College in San Diego, right?
Mhm.
Then you went to the Institute of Integrated Nutrition. Was that right after, or was that some time in
No,
between?
that was 2 years after. I did styling for a couple of years and pretty quickly realized that it wasn't soul fulfilling.
Mm.
So I was thinking like, how can I find a way to share stuff that I'm passionate about? And I had gone through a significant life transformation myself, losing 200 or losing 80 pounds and like, shifting and changing how I eat and my health. And so integrated nutrition was just a logical step.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't do one-on-one health coaching, but I have plugged in what I've learned into some other businesses now. So
Now, you mentioned the losing weight. Was that something that you struggled with your whole life when you were
yeah,
overweight, or was it okay?
yeah, I was like the fat girl in elementary school. Significantly overweight since I was probably like 10 years old.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Was that because of health issues, or just lifestyle, or just what do you think it was?
Lifestyle for sure. No, like awareness around my eating habits at all. Like grew up with a Midwest kind of diet, meat and potatoes, and then
The good
like
stuff.
that stuff. So it was really just not an issue of not moving my body and not eating for my body type. Yeah.
Hmm. And around what year did you discover? Because then eventually you discovered the plant-based diet, right? Was that about
Mhm.
2009 or so?
I went full on vegan in 2013 when I moved to New York. But I had been on a path to like discovering vegetarian, vegan stuff for 5 years. But it really took me a long time to be like, yeah, I'm going to do
Do
this.
this full time,
So,
right? So, how did you tell us? Because I know people would love to know just what you can. You don't have to give us your whole routine, but just how did you make the decision, one, to decide to lose weight for yourself? And then how did you go about doing it? Like, what was your first step?
so I decided when my sister got married, I saw pictures from her wedding and I was like, who's that? Not be me. And decided right then and there, like I was 23, no, 20, yeah, I was like 22 or 23. So I was like, this can't continue, right? Like,
Mm,
I don't want to look at this. I don't want to feel like this. So I really just started diet and exercise. Like, I didn't really know exactly what to do, but I knew diet and exercise would help. So
mm-hmm.
then as I got more into it, I really discovered how important diet is. And that's when I started playing with the
And that
plant-based diet.
and that was on your own, not with a trainer or anything.
No, no trainers. No, I just bootstrapped myself to health.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I had like my ex-husband kind of keeping me honest and a couple support people, but no trainer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, it was really for me, it was really diet. Like moving my body has always been something, even till this day, that I'm like, I don't want to go to the gym, but
Right.
for me, like to keep the weight off and to maintain it, it really boils down to diet. So.
And around what time did you discover that what goes on your body is as important as what goes in your body? Because that's something I know
Um,
people don't realize, that so much of what you
yeah,
put on your body goes into your bloodstream, from what I'm told, faster than what you
yeah,
digest.
yeah. Our skin is our biggest organ, right? So it does some pretty amazing things, and one of them is to absorb nutrients from what's around us. And unfortunately, people don't know that. I learned that when I was in Institute for Integrative Nutrition. That was something that was kind of brought up. And since I had gone vegan, I was like, oh, whoa. And also being tested on products, being tested on animals and, animal byproducts and stuff. I was like, wait, that's not aligned with where I'm at. And so that's when I really decided, like, I'm going to take it a step further.
And then tell us about what the step further was for you.
So I started making skincare products for myself out of oils and essential oils and just stuff that I had in my kitchen based on tons of Google research.
I was going to say, how did
And
you know what to make? Because I'm always fascinated by people who decide to make their own products or do things like that. And it's just, oh, I looked it up online and I just figured out how to make this deodorant or whatever it is.
so that's where it started for me. And I'll tell you, Google and, online has a wealth of information.
It's so funny.
However, what I learned really quickly was that a lot of what people were sharing did not come out the way that they said it should. So
Oh, it's
I
like
was like,
food recipes.
yeah, like, it's the energy and the love that you put into it has a lot to do with what comes out. So I started with deodorant actually, and the very first one I made was just coconut oil, baking soda, and cornstarch. So it was super basic, equal parts of all three, and still till this day, that was the most effective deodorant ever. Like, so I have friends who still you just use that, like when I haven't switched to my stick deodorant.
Oh my
So
gosh, it's so funny. With deodorant is one of those products that I've been trying to move away from certain brands of deodorant because of the aluminum and all of those things. And I've tried other natural brands, and my friends and I always laugh like, this is horrible. Like by
mhm.
midday, you smell like, we smell like water buffaloes. Like it's so, we text each other
It's
like, do
true.
you smell like a water buffalo yet? It's 2 o'clock because it's just one of those things. But your deodorant is the only one that I've tried and used that is effective all day. Even if you have to
Yeah.
reapply a little bit, it just, you know,
You don't smell like a water
you
buffalo.
don't
Yeah.
smell like a water buffalo. Exactly. And I think it's because, I mean, you tell me it's because of whatever the mix is that you found.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, I did not have any like scientist or chemist type background when I started this. So it was literally just try it on myself. And if it worked, awesome. And then share it with my friends. And if it worked, awesome. And
Right.
now I'm working with a chemist and we're dialing in on some stuff. And like you realize the molecular structure and how you do everything, like how you melt it, the process in which you put it together, and which ingredient goes in first can all affect the effectiveness and the texture, consistency of what you're creating in. So it's kind of a miracle that I stumbled across the formulations that I did without any chemist to guide me.
Mm-hmm.
But I did, and so that's really exciting because I know there's a lot of people out there trying to make natural deodorant who haven't cracked the code yet. So yeah,
Exactly.
I
Now,
got real lucky with that
yeah.
one.
So now we're talking about the things that the products that already exist, but in early stages, you were kind of experimenting, like you said, and having friends try it and test it and see what worked.
hmm
And
Yeah, so there was, I mean, I have everything now. I have face collection, body collection, and I really just started making products as I needed stuff. So like I wanted to switch from toothpaste, and I tried making toothpaste. I still haven't been able to make one that
mm,
works. But I went to oil pulling because I was researching how to heal some cavities after having like a crazy dentist visit. And then so that was the second product. And then I wanted to get out of like foaming face washes and body wash. So I went to oil cleansing, and it just kind of compounded as I was like, oh, wait, reading ingredient lists on what I had in my cabinet, like, oh, I don't want to use that.
right.
So,
Now, when
mhm.
did you get to the point where you knew that all of these things you were testing and the good response from friends was an actual brand, which we should tell everyone is called Whole Clarity, which is awesome. And people can go to wholeclarity.com and get the
Yeah.
products and see more about it. But when did you know that, okay, I think I can make a business out of this?
It was kind of an epiphany moment. I was on a road trip with five of my best friends, or four of my best friends. There's five of us all together. And I had always known that I was going to like just be an entrepreneur, and I had this instinct knowing that it was going to be a product based business. Like I knew that since I was a kid. I always dreamed of that, but I never knew what the product would be. And even a year into like, well, it was probably like 8 months into making these products, I still did not have any inclination that's what it was going to be. So I'm on this road trip and we're all talking about my products, and my friends are like, your skin looks so great. I literally do look 10 years younger. If you see pictures of me when I was 18 until now, I look younger. So, and I was like, oh, I just love them, I love making it, whatever. And somebody said, you should sell them.
Right.
And it like, ding, bright light in my head. And I didn't say anything in the moment because I was like, I have a brain where if something is in there, my brain doesn't stop until I have like solutions. And I think you're very similar like that.
Yes, just a little bit.
Continually going. So the first like 3 days, or the whole day of the road trip, I'm driving, thinking. The second day, I start like voicing some things, like, what do you guys think of this? And I start like saying some names. Nothing really stuck. And then it was the third day. We were in an elevator. It was Memorial Day weekend, and we were in Atlanta. And I was just standing in this elevator, and like, whole clarity. It just came to me. And when I said the words, I was like, whole clarity. And then I said, and it's going to look like this. And I literally explained everything that you see today in detail to my friends. And it just came out of me. And I was like, it's going to be called this, and it's going to look like this. And these are going to be all the names, and that's how it's going to work. And my friend was like, holy crap, write that down.
Right. They're like, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. So then the drive home on that road trip, my friend and I were just like going over it again and talking, brainstorming about it. And I kid you not, we were on this straight road. It was completely straight. And there was tall trees on either side that were like perfectly straight. And it was a new moon that was completely aligned with like the middle of the road, and a little star that was also like, it was 100% like
surreal.
Yo. Yeah. So
all the signs were there.
That. Yeah. And, it's kind of a dramatic story, but it's my friend. I have 4 friends that will tell you that's what happened. Like, it was intense energy that weekend, kind of bringing that out of me. So
that's amazing. Now tell us about that, just that idea of having friends around you who support, because I don't know, are they entrepreneurs also, or just close friends that you have from a variety of parts of your life?
They're close friends. 2 of them are interested in entrepreneurship and have some really incredible ideas, but they haven't done anything with them yet. So if you're listening, come on, guys. And the other ones are just really supportive, great friends of mine. So yeah.
So how important is that, to have that around you? People you can, the people who can see you and what you're doing and say, you should sell that, or you should try this or that.
The support aspect of my friends has been instrumental in every single part of me being an entrepreneur. Because when I first launched out in my styling business, I heard a lot of, that's not like, don't do that. That kind of like, wait, what are you doing? That's dangerous. Scary. How are you going to make money? And all that. And that made it really hard. That transition was very scary for me. And so to have friends that supported and could see that idea with me and like were there to support and brainstorm with me was so huge. And I can tell you right now that Whole Clarity would not be even half of what it is today without the support of that same group of friends and other people who have shown up along the way. So yeah, that was really huge to have like encouragement and like, yeah, that sounds awesome. So I think, there's a shift there. I personally had already been an entrepreneur, so I kind of understood what was going to go into that. And so when I approached it, it was out of like a, hey guys, this is what's happening kind of attitude, not, hey guys, what do you think of this? And so that, I think, was the difference in just a couple of years of starting my first company and then being more grounded in entrepreneurs to like the response that I got. So if you're out there and you have an idea and you're thinking about, I talk to people about this all the time. If you're out there thinking about starting a company and you have that like backlash, like, yo, don't, check inside and see how you're presenting it to them, because that's a huge, like, if you're not sure, they're definitely not sure.
Right. And in most cases, if they're your close friends, family, or parents, they're saying no or being not negative. They're usually saying no because they want to protect you.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's totally a protection thing.
Right. Which isn't necessarily what you want or need in that time. Or you need the protection, but you still need the encouragement. Sort of, there's a risk with being an entrepreneur, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. It's a big risk, but totally worth it, I
Yeah.
think.
So now with Whole Clarity, do you still make most of the products out of your place? Like it's not like you have it in a factory somewhere, or how does it work?
It is still lovingly made by me.
I love
So,
it.
yeah, it's exciting to know that there's like hundreds of people, thousands at this point out there, like using products that literally just came that I poured.
That
It's just
you made it yourself and they're using your deodorant.
But the exciting thing is that we have expanded and we're scaling and growing now to a point where we're about to start sourcing our bottles anyway. We're talking to people in the U.S., which is exciting. I really want to be able to keep our sourcing and manufacturing in the U.S. if possible. But I also am talking to some people in China because they make some really incredible biodegradable bottles that I'm really excited about. So we'll see what happens there.
Right.
However, I have two manufacturers, one in California and one in Jersey, that we're um, starting to see how if they'll start manufacturing for me, because it's getting to a point that I can't quite keep up. So
Right. I
that's
was going to ask,
that.
yeah, I was going to ask you about that. At what point do you know that it's time to start looking for people to help you? One, I assume you have people helping you make the products, but when do you get to the point where you say, you know what, it's time for me to grow out of my kitchen and, do this on a bigger scale?
Um, I think that is going to be very individual for everybody. I realized when I hit Amazon in a bigger way that was really gonna, like, when the demand really, I was like, wait, I need to make like 800 units of deodorant a month, and each one takes me this X amount of time.
How
Like,
long does each one
oh,
take you about?
I can make about 26 deodorants in a half an hour.
Oh, wow.
Well,
So 800.
it's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been able to dial that in a little bit more now that I have like labels come and be applied on the bottles already, and it cuts some time out there. But yeah, it takes time. You have to melt wax. That takes a while.
Right.
So yeah. So for me, that realization really came when the demand started to kick up, and I want to ensure that I'm not shooting myself in the foot. Most small businesses really come to this place where they haven't thought about how are they going to scale when the big business that you've been working for comes. And I'm so grateful. I had mentors who always said this to me, like, make sure you're scaling and that you have a plan in place for when this goes big, because it's going to. And so I've always had like a pulse on how to source bottles and materials and have a manufacturer kind of like there for when that time comes. So
Were these mentors who are in the skincare or product development business, or just people who from the outside that you trust, who can sort of see, hey, you're going in this direction, make sure you have these things in place?
so I did speak with one person who was really amazing about skincare. He has a men's skincare line called Earth, URTH. If you're a man, check it out. It's amazing. He advocated for that huge. It was like, just make sure you know how to scale.
Right. Now, how did you find him and your other mentor? Were they people that you sort of know, or did you seek out someone in the business?
I didn't actually seek anybody out. They all just kind of landed in my lap. So that guy, I got connected. I'm part of a mastermind, the Extraordinary Life 360 Mastermind.
Yes,
It's
you are.
amazing. And one of the ladies in there connected me with him. And so that was incredible. One of the other mentors, he's like been an entrepreneur for 30 years. He's built six like multi-million dollar companies. And I just really admire the work that he's doing. And so he was another big one. He's all about scaling companies. So
Right. He's
like,
like, this is what you want to
"Dude, you
do,
got
and you need to
this."
be prepared. I love that. So, how big is
So
your team now? I know you're growing and looking at manufacturers and other things, but how big is the team that you work with now?
So I really love the way that I've built my company. I'm still what they call a solopreneur, and I just
Hmm.
contract out the things that I need. So I have a team of, I had a team of three, but now I have a team of two. And so I had an intern, but she's done now. So I have a social media marketing person, and I have somebody who helps me with Amazon and um, some other marketing stuff, but primarily on Amazon.
Hmm.
And I'm actually interviewing a VA for to help me with like newsletter stuff and customer service and relations and just like some busy work that I'm ready to not handle anymore.
Right.
So then I'll be free again.
Good. And then how did you find your VA? Is this someone you posted on Craigslist? Are you going through an agency? Because I know people always, talk about hiring an assistant and then get overwhelmed at the idea of hiring an assistant.
So I put an ad out on Upwork,
Right.
and this lady in London who just moved to Bali responded, and she had like, I really hope that after I interview her on Sunday, I'm like, yeah,
Fingers
please, because
crossed.
she's really good. Yeah, based on her experience, she's perfect. I have a knack for calling things and people into my life, uh, like manifesting. People are always like, how did you do that? So
How do
no
you do
surprise.
that?
Um, I set some really clear intentions. I think that's like number one. And then I talk about stuff that I need. I am not
Yes.
afraid to be like, hey, this is what I'm working on. This
I
is where
do
I'm
that
headed.
too. So many
And
people are afraid to do that.
yeah, I actually talked to an entrepreneur who was like afraid to share his idea because he thought it was going to get stolen.
That's a
And I was
scarcity
like,
thing.
get out of that mindset quick. Because it's, I mean, if you haven't read Big Magic, I totally recommend it. She says something in there about the ideas are all just kind of floating in the world around us, and we are not the only people having them
Right. That's
ever.
Elizabeth Gilbert, right?
Yeah, yeah. If you think that you are, like, no, man, there are probably, 10 to 100 people in your city alone who are having the same ideas as you. And there's no fear that it's going to get stolen. What I've learned living in New York, there's a market for everything.
Right.
And as long as you're putting your effort and your best foot forward and like creating movement on it, you're already steps ahead of anybody who's going to like try and like steal your idea. Like if somebody came in and was like, I haven't trademarked whole clarity, don't tell anybody I need to.
Get on that before this
Yeah, I'm gonna
episode
do
airs. I'm
that.
going to
Thank you.
remind you.
Thank you. I have been like dragging my feet, but
Girl, that is our first priority.
I'm gonna ask you, support is sexy,
Abs.
how to do that? Because I honestly like don't know even where to start. So,
Yes.
but anyway,
I got you.
I already have like movement, and I was never afraid of that idea getting stolen. Like there are so many people out there doing similar things to me, but we all have our own individual avenues and specific things that make our company what they are. So I talk about what I'm doing. I talk about what I'm working on. I talk about where I want to go and all my ideas. And people like hear it, and then I get connected, or things just really show up. So it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm a big advocate of that. Of course, like people want to get things trademarked and those kinds of things. But like you said,
Yeah.
I have learned, and it's been through experience. I've had things where I tried to keep it secret, and I want to wait until I get it together before I announce it or whatever. But then it takes me longer than it would if I said, "Hey, this is what I'm working on." And sometimes you're not even asking people for anything, or I know in my case, sometimes I don't even know exactly what I need, but I know what I want to do. And then someone will connect you with, like you said, they just connected you with the founder of Earth. And then started talking, or this other entrepreneur who's not even in your business, who's been a great influence. So I'm with you that people should, consider, or not consider, embrace this idea of letting people know, just let people know what you're working on, right?
Yeah, and it's not like just shouting it out to
Right.
like, so it's like,
Random.
hey guys, this is my idea. No, it's like if you're having a conversation and you feel comfortable with this person and they're asking, and share, in a way that you protect yourself, but that is still open. And I think that I have this theory, and I'm sure there's like a real theory around it, but for manifesting, like everything starts with a thought,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you're
Thoughts
really
become
serious,
things.
yeah, thoughts become things. So if you are serious about that thought, write it down. If you can articulate it through writing, it's just one step closer to the universe. Like you're showing the universe, hey, I'm actually more serious about this. So people have thoughts all day, but do they write them down?
Right.
And then the last step to the universe to like really shake up the universe to say, hey, here I am, I'm ready, I'm putting voice to this is a huge piece. And if you never talk, if you only think or keep your things to yourself and you don't talk about it, you're not sending the full level of energy out to the universe to signal, hey, I'm ready. That's at least what's always been true for me. So
that's awesome. So let's see. How did you, with going with Amazon, how did you decide that that was the way you wanted to go about selling your products? Because at first, were you doing it primarily just through your website?
yeah, I did a lot of just my own website and like live events to really get my name out there. And I always, part of my vision for this is always to be 100% online.
Mm-hmm.
And when I launched my website, I simultaneously launched an Amazon store. So I've been on Amazon
Oh,
for
okay.
like
You've been doing it
a
all.
year and a half. But
Yeah.
I had very little sales because I didn't have those pages set up right at all. So anyway, I learned pretty quickly that I was going to need help in that area because it's like a whole massive thing. And just happened to meet my Amazon guy at Whole Foods,
Because
just
you probably
chilling. Yeah,
manifested that.
and yeah. So then he helped me optimize my pages and go through all of these launch processes, and we saw some really great results. And so I was excited to have that as like the leading edge for my company. And now we're getting ready to like really start doing some big PR with WholeClarity.com and kind of create new avenues, but still online. Everything's still online. Mm-hmm.
So with Amazon, is that called a certain, is it just selling through Amazon or is it a certain program that people can look into if they're interested in doing something similar? Is it like a vendor program or do you know if it's called anything in particular?
They have like a Amazon seller side. So you just have to sign up for an account. There's two different options. There's one that's like $20 a month, and there's one that's 40. And I highly recommend the better one. Like the $40 one, you get
Mm-hmm.
way more stuff. Amazon is crazy. If you're thinking about going into Amazon selling business, consult with somebody who knows it. It's a freaking monster. So like I have my own brand. I had to go jump through some serious hoops to even be allowed to like sell on Amazon.
Why is that?
I mean, they have to protect their, like
Oh,
they can't
right.
be selling things that are not great. But most people who sell on Amazon are just resellers. So
Yeah,
they're
that's what I was going to say. It's almost like eBay, but not.
they're getting products from China or whatever, and then they're turning around and selling it. So Amazon already has what they're selling in their brand registry, and it's super easy to set up something that way because you just say, oh, hey, this is what I have. 500 people are already selling it.
Mm.
Copy their page, go whatever. But when you have your own thing, you have to like apply for all of these things. You have to have your FDA certifications. You have to like send in all sorts of information to prove that you're a real business. And then if they approve you, you're good to sell. And then you have to go through like a whole other level to get FBA. So it's a big, big, massive thing.
And having some, and like you said, having someone who knows that process or who specializes in that process has been beneficial. Because selling on Amazon overall, though, you feel like it's been helpful to your business.
Yeah, it's been great for just getting some capital in and like, moving through product and for feedback, like you're
Mm.
selling, I'll tell you, you don't have any control over your target market on Amazon. You only are concerned with your keywords. And so people that are searching your keywords hopefully are in your target market, but not necessarily. And I found that many people who are like interested in natural deodorant are not necessarily like my target market, the people who are aware and like already in this lifestyle and are like, all clean eating and everything. They're just normal people who heard that aluminum is bad for them. And now they're like, oh, I want a deodorant. So they go into it thinking it's going to be like a nice glide on gel, or they have no concept of that it's a natural thing and that it works differently. And
Right.
so to get feedback from people who have never really like gotten into this whole natural, holistic lifestyle is amazing because it
Mm.
really helps me to like fine tune everything even more. So that's probably been one of the biggest, just the level of the size of the audience that you're in front of is massive.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I never would have thought of it like that. Like you said, you have your target market, but it's actually beneficial to get in front of or have people use it who are not your target market, because that's the average, probably the average person who would be
Mhm.
experimenting, so to speak, as opposed to this is a change in my lifestyle, so I'm going after this.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's been really, yeah, it's been amazing to help like really dial in on some things. And
Hmm.
I want my brand to be positioned as the premium household brand. Like everybody's using it and loving it. So
And it will be. We're claiming it.
that's right.
Whole Clarity household brand. So tell us about a sort of low point or fork in the road in your business so far in the past few years and how you navigated it and came back from it.
Well, so I kind of tried to recreate the wheel in this whole process.
Mm.
I didn't take any investors. I decided that this was something I was going to just do on my own. And I had the means to do it, but then I realized as I was getting ready to like scale now that I am in a position that's very difficult because now I need like a lot of money. Just not something to like not something that's going to stop me. However, in my little monkey brain, I was like, hey, this is probably 6 months ago. This was right before I met my Amazon guy. I was crying in my apartment, like sobbing my eyes out, like, why isn't anything working? And of course, I had sales, I have, things to show that it is working, but I wasn't making any money off of it. I still was like dumping a lot of money into it. And just like, I really needed something to shift and change, or I
Mm-hmm.
was going to be like, I'm done. And that was a year in. Okay. So that's not that long. And I know in my head, most businesses fail in the first 2 years or whatever people say. And, but I just sent out to the universe, like, hey, something's got to shift or I got this, it's going to change, like whether it goes away or whatever. But I actually thought in my mind, like if I ran away to like Thailand, because I have this vision of like, if I drop my business, I'm moving to Thailand. And that's my exit strategy.
Yeah, that's the brain's way of escaping. I have that too. Plenty of islands.
Yeah.
I'm like, what if I just leave and go to totally get it?
And that was this thought that I had in my head. And then it was like the next day, I just started getting emails from people like, oh my God, your deodorant, I love it. Oh my God, your face lotion is the only one I use. And I was like, wow, people would miss it. Maybe it's not millions of people like I thought I was going to. Like, but then you have to sit back and think, did I really think I was going to go from like zero to like $1 billion in a year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. But like,
And in the end, you probably even
not
wouldn't have even wanted that. It would have been overwhelming.
able to do it at all. So yeah. So then after I got those emails, that was like the light turned back on, and I was like, all right. So then I stopped asking how am I going to get out of this, and I just started asking how am I going to make it work, and that
Mm.
was like a huge shift. And I'm all about empowering questions. Like if we ask why something is happening, we're not going to get very far. That's not empowering. It doesn't show any solution to a problem. So to start asking how or what or where or when. There's so much more empowering questions. And so that was a huge shift for me to like also energetically to the universe. I'm not saying like I give up. I'm saying, okay, I'm in flow.
Mm.
So yeah, that was about 6 months ago. And then it was like 2 days later that I sat down at a table in Whole Foods because there was no other place to sit. And there was like one seat at one table that had one guy sitting at it. And I sat down. This is in Brooklyn. So people don't talk to each other, right?
Maybe a little bit.
Headphones. I was like, all right, he's whatever. I just sat down and started eating. He's like, hey, how are you? And my head snapped up. I was like, I'm good. How are you? And then we just started talking. Ends up he's an Amazon guy, and that was 6 months ago. Within 4 weeks, like business had turned around. Like we had done some of our biggest date in a month. That's
That
how
is
fast it
crazy.
can be. Hmm.
That is crazy. And then the
So
funny thing
yeah,
is, I always say this thing about let go of the how. Like you couldn't have written that or prayed for that or tried to manifest that. Well, you did manifest it, but specifically say, I want to go into a store and just meet the guy. Would you even have thought about getting an Amazon specialist?
when I left Whole Foods that day, my brain and my spirit was just like, wow, that's amazing. you just right place, right time. Like, you know that you're being led at that point, and it's
Mm-hmm.
exciting. You
I
can
love
just
it.
rest easy.
If there's one thing that you wish someone had told you about entrepreneurship, what would that be? If there's one thing.
Oh, the one thing I wish anybody had mentioned to me was that you're going to have to learn a lot every day, and a lot of times very quickly. Um, and again, like I said, I tried to recreate the wheel. I'm the kind of person I'm a capable person, and I like to do a lot of things, but like I mean, everything, building my own website to, the actual formulations and financing it all. So, you don't have to do that.
Right. You
But
don't having it all doesn't mean doing it all alone.
amen. So I think that just if somebody had told me like, hey, there is a way to do this that it still works and you're not giving up control or like any portion of your business. Like, I didn't learn that I could be contracting these things out until like, you know, 8 months in.
Right.
And then I was like, wow. And then what I discovered when I did start hiring people to like do my marketing or whatever was that they paid for themselves because they were like,
Because they bring
putting,
in.
yeah. So, I think it's just overcoming that fear mindset. But if somebody had told me, hey, you'd have to learn a lot, that would have been helpful because I wasn't prepared. I thought, oh, I know how to do this. I know how to make these, and it's going to be all beautiful and easy.
Right. And I'm going to do it all by myself.
No,
No, exactly.
that didn't take off until I brought in help. So,
And with some of that too, like you said, someone could have told you, but do you feel like, I know I have these moments, I needed to learn it myself. Like, I'm glad I did eventually realize it, but it's sort of like,
yeah,
oh, I had to experience what a struggle it is to try to do everything yourself. And I'm trying to do things that I'm not really great at. Like, for example, I don't hate social media. I talk about social media a lot here. I don't hate it. I just like to do it when I feel like it. But for
yeah,
business and in today's world,
it's got to be like on
exactly.
it.
So why
Yeah,
not get someone who loves social media or marketing or whatever it is, and then let that person do the thing that they're great at? And like you said, you have to look at how it pays for itself, not like, oh, I'm
right.
losing money by investing in this.
Exactly. Yeah, that's like a massive abundance or scarcity mindset thing that a lot of people fall into. So, yeah, letting other people help you and support you is huge. And I did have to learn. I had to definitely learn that on my own. But that's just the kind of person I am. People could have told me till they were blue in the face. And I was
Right.
like, but I got it.
I got
Thanks.
it. Exactly. I
Yeah.
got it. I got it. So now you're sort of shifting gears. Whole Clarity is going and growing and doing such fabulous things. And you're shifting gears and doing something total. Well, I say totally different, but you probably can connect the dots. I'm sure you've thought about the whole vision for it.
Yes, it's
Tell
a
us.
connection,
Yeah,
but
I'm
it's like
sure. That's why I stopped
long game.
my.
It's a long game.
Yeah,
So,
that's why I
yeah.
stopped myself. So tell us about this brand new product you have called Head Game Pro.
Oh, I would be happy to. So,
Yay.
so I am a certified lifestyle coach for health coaching, and I did have a program in health coaching, and I realized real quick that that was not the area that I was supposed to be coaching around health and losing weight. Like, even though I know how to do it, just wasn't my passion. So, how I was able to fund Whole Clarity was through sensual massage, and so I have some really deep working knowledge on how to blow some minds,
Mm-hmm.
and then also how to communicate effectively with men, how to honor your worth, and how to really have confidence to go out there and get what you want. So I decided to launch Head Game Pro as a coaching program for women who want to be empowered in their sexuality and really like learn how to harness their sexual energy, which is in their life force giving creative energy. And what I have witnessed over the years, and even all the people that I coached for weight and like to lose weight, a lot of what they were dealing with tied back to sex or
Hmm.
sexuality or something that was going to, obviously that was like the universe saying, hey, we're bringing you these people, help them, right? And share with them what you know. So I launched Head Game Pro as like my answer to that. It's really something that is dear to my heart because I went through 5 years of like wondering if anybody would ever take me seriously in my new businesses if they found out the things that I was doing behind closed doors, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like this massive shift recently where I just released all of that and I was like, no, that's not the case. People need to know this. People want to
People
know
want to
what
know.
people want to know. I get asked every day, like, it's awesome. So that website is headgame.pro. There's a micro course. It's a free 4-day course right on the homepage. You can sign up for that. It's really fantastic. It's literally like the absolute basics that if you plug into your life, you will have like immediate shifts. And it's just the beginning. I'm launching a full-blown head masterclass. It's called July 20th. It's a 7-week program, and it goes deep into all 4 of the areas that we cover in the micro course, which are mindset, communication, confidence, and skill set. So when you're done with like the head master class, you will literally be like this woman who can articulate what she wants in a way that you'll get it.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll feel really comfortable in your sexuality. Your confidence is going to skyrocket and you're going to have some really great mindset tools to navigate any situation.
I love this. I have so many questions. I don't know if you can see me over here. I just can't even keep up. First of all, one of the things I want to go back to the 4-day micro course. It sounds like it's more than just about sex because obviously part of this is sexuality, but sex and sexuality. But it sounds like you mentioned mindset as one of the things. Now, where does that come into play when we're looking at ourselves as sexual beings?
So what I have found in my own sexual experiences is that the more confident that I was with myself, the more clear that I was in my mind, instead of like when I get into a sexual experience, instead of thinking like, oh my God, I don't like how I look right now, or something I've heard so many women say is like, if they're having sex with somebody, they're concerned about how their thighs look or how their stomach looks. And I'm like,
and meanwhile,
what?
the other person usually isn't concerned about that at all.
So happy to be there, right? They don't care. So the mindset stuff really, like, to have these mind-blowing, elevated sexual experiences, it starts long before the bedroom. And so that was something I really discovered. And that's why the first 3 weeks before we even talk about sexual skill set stuff is all mostly inner work. Because to get to a point where you can be a partner in elevated, mind-blowing sexual experiences, it starts really on the inside. So
now what makes it, I'm sure this answer is different for everyone, but what makes an experience that you would consider to be mind-blowing? Is it, well, I'll let you answer.
That really is different for everybody. However, I think there's some core basic key things in every one of those situations would be that you're really in tune with your partner, that you're present. I can't tell you how many people have told me after like I've had an experience with them that they were like, wow, you were so present here. Like you were actually in tune with me. Mm-hmm. You weren't off in la la land, which obviously happens a lot. So that's a huge thing. Also, just knowing like when you're making somebody have an orgasm, how to intensify that. Some people have no clue. Like they're like, wait, that's a thing? Like you, and that kind of ties into some Tantra stuff, which I'm learning right now. But that's a huge thing, like being able to get somebody to an orgasm and then to amplify it. Also, I think just being able to connect with people on a deeper intimacy level creates these mind-blowing experiences. Like, yeah, we can go out, whatever. That probably is not going to be one of the most fantastic experiences. I think that these mind-blowing, really elevated sexual experiences come from being connected to your partner in ways that we are not as a society right now.
Great. And being connected to your partners, this isn't necessarily a partner who is your life partner. This is anyone that you want to have a sexual experience with. That's what you're...
Yeah, I think, it definitely doesn't have to be a life partner, no.
Yeah, because I think people...
But that also
Sorry, I was just going to say sometimes people think, oh, well, this is about, getting better in my relationship, and which I'm sure that's can be part of it, but this is open to anyone who wants to, not even, and you let me know if this is the correct answer, but not even just how to help your partner have a better experience, but it's also about your own experience.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely
There's,
going to if you're not having the most fun in that situation, it's certainly not going to be the most fun for the other person. Like that's an energy thing. They can feel it. They're going to know. So
right.
yeah, to be able to do that, means that you're doing it for yourself as well, or that your partner is at least helping you in that.
Now, does our sexual confidence play into how we interact in the world? Like, and I know in your experience, one of the things that you said was that you learned that was part of your just how you were going through at that time. Like you had gone through a divorce at 24. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you had this sort of
Yes.
period where you wanted to get buck wild, as I've read that you said.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think our sexual confidence is a huge component in how we show up in the world. But it's one that isn't always talked about or highlighted or glorified. So there's a couple things here. Like I grew up in a super strict religious household where sex was something that was not celebrated. It was not health. It was not good, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it was always equated to something shameful or sinful or bad, unless it was inside like a marriage. But then even then there was like so many things about it that were just kind of had this shame hanging over them.
Mm.
And so we are sexual beings, right? It is in our nature. And if you grew up with that kind of mindset, and not everybody did, but there could be a whole host of other things that lead to that mindset, you will not be fully expressing your like sexual energy, one, but your sexual energy, I think I mentioned this earlier, is your life force. Like when we have really great sex, sex has the ability to create a new life, right? This is
Mm.
huge. That's huge. It's not just something to like go and do and have fun with, and that it can be that, but if you really look at like what sexual energy is, it's a creative life force giving energy. And so if it's blocked inside you, or if you feel shame around it, or if you have all of these things that are not in flow with your sexual energy, that creative energy in all areas of your life is going to be blocked. So and that could show up like just not being able to communicate great with your partner and get, a satisfying, fulfilling relationship. That could show up at work where you are like not your full potential or highest potential with men because there's like some weird shame thing. Like there's so many ways that this can show up. And when you just start to like say, oh, okay, I am a sexual being. This is natural. This is something that I am allowed to explore and have fun with and be good at.
Mm-hmm.
It unlocks something inside of you that kind of spills out into every area of your life.
Now, what would you say is your mission with Head Game Pro, and how did you know that what I'm going to turn this into a business or an offering for it? It really sounds a lot like a passion. Not that whole clarity wasn't a passion, but you just come alive when you come alive. Haha, sexual.
Yeah.
Come alive when you talk about it. How did you know that what I'm going to create this thing and offer this to the world?
So this has been like for a long time. Like I said, I hid it. I hid it from a lot of people. I didn't want to share like what I was all about or what I knew about or these things with the world because I was afraid people were going to judge me. But then as I started sharing my experiences with people, I was met with fascination instead of judgment. And so that's
Mm.
like the first thing. And then through some theta healing that I had with a friend, it was revealed to me that my soul is like a sexual healer. And so that got my brain thinking like, oh, how can I use that on a bigger level? Because I see that the world is like desperately calling for that kind of healing. And
Mm-hmm.
then the last piece that really gave me the confidence to like strike out and like do this thing in a big way was being part of this mastermind and just having the support of these women who are like all so incredible. And I sat for 6 months watching them all build information products and coaching programs. And my brain the entire time was like, like you could do this and want to do this. And so then I really just decided, finally everything kind of clicked in. And I was like, okay, this is how it can work. And my main goal behind it really is to just elevate any woman that comes into my program, just elevate her confidence and her sexual prowess so that she can go out into the world and like live this dream life, the one that I'm living, like to harness all of this amazing stuff that's inside of her and know that it's possible no matter where you've come from to step into your power at any point in life and start getting what you want out of it in sexuality, in work, in relationships, and all of it. And so the course, it covers a lot. Like it's going to be a lot, I feel like.
I love it.
But as I'm writing all the things down that we're going to cover, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to turn into like
You're
a year
writing
long.
out your exactly. People are going to leave with a certification.
Eventually.
I love it. So we'll make sure we have links to everything in the show notes so people know where to find you and the course and the headmaster class, which is in July. Will there be another one offered later in case this airs after that?
I plan on launching it 3 times a year.
Okay.
So there will always be information as to when the next one will be starting if you miss the dates. But just so that you know, like that's just one piece of the puzzle. And I understand that not everybody is going to want to be like in some crazy coaching program for sex. But I do have a blog that I just riff on all sorts of things that I find interesting or annoying in the modern dating world. And I also am doing a live coaching call every first Wednesday of the month. And they are recorded and also added to the website. The first one is July 6th. And we're talking actually about sexual confidence. So it's funny that you brought that up. So if I don't know, you probably won't hear this before then, but first Wednesday of every month, there's a different topic. Sometimes I have experts. Sometimes it's just me. If you have a question about sex or if there's something you need to get off your chest or if there's a story that you want to share because it's hilarious, whatever, call. Because this is all about like just opening the lines of communication, starting a new conversation about sex. So we can all like just go out there and have a bit more fun.
I love it. So where can people find the live coaching calls? That's on the website also?
Headgame.pro and go to events.
Okay.
There's a calendar there. They're always listed and you can click through the link to add it to your calendar.
Perfect. And the blog is there also on headgame.pro.
Yep. That's there as well.
Perfect. And I'll have all the links. I'll get all that from you so we can make sure I know people are going to want to find it.
Yay!
So just a couple more questions. What would you say the greatest lesson having a business has taught you about yourself as a woman?
For me, it's really been instrumental in like everybody said in school, like, you can do whatever you want, right? But then there's like this thing that when you get out into the world, everybody's like, no, you can't though. You should like just do that.
Not really.
We just kidding. But so that to me, creating my own business just showed me like how capable I am as a female, as a person. Like when you put your mind to something, how far you can go. And I've discovered things about myself I never would have even considered if I hadn't been a business owner. So for me, it's just been really like to step into my power. That's what I really think that it has done.
Awesome.
From not giving it away every day to somebody else. I'm harnessing it for myself.
Right. Seeing the things you can handle when they come your way. Business will definitely teach you that, what you can handle and what you cannot. One other question or a couple more. If you think over your life and career and you had a chance to thank only one person whose support was critical to you personally or professionally, who would that be and what would you say?
Just one person?
One person.
Okay, well, that one person would have to be my mother because she has given me loans. She has like supported me. She uses my products. She like knows my whole sexual things and has still loved me and been there for me. And my mom has said to me over and over, I know she always wanted to be an entrepreneur. She wanted to be a businesswoman, and she didn't because she had 3 kids. And she says to me all the time, like, I live vicariously through you. Like, I'm so happy to see you out there doing these things because it's kind of the life I always wanted to live. And so she supports me 100% more than I think anybody else out there in so many ways. So without her, you wouldn't see any of what is out there today.
I love it. That's beautiful. And I love that she's doing it without judgment.
Oh yeah, no, my mom is amazing like that.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm so happy I can have, like, my dad, not so much.
Right.
My mom, yes.
That's great. I love it. So, Connie, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. I love what you're doing. I love your deodorant. Everyone should try it. And your pulling products. I mean, you have such great things. And I'm so excited about Head Game Pro. I can't wait to see just how it continues to grow and manifest and all the good work that you're going to do with it. It's fun, too. That's what I love about it. Yeah, it's super fun. I love that. So what's one parting piece of advice about anything that you have for our listeners?
My piece of advice for every guy who's an entrepreneur or not, ideas. If you want to get them out of the idea sphere and into the reality sphere, you have to do.
Wait, start over. So I'm sorry to interrupt you. Your signal is going out a little bit. Start from the beginning again.
Okay. So I would say that if you're anybody out there with ideas and you're having difficulty starting, getting going, whatever, just do what you can today. Take action toward your ideas, even if it's just something little, like even if it's literally just writing it down. Move, do, like that's how I've gotten where I am today. Not being afraid to make mistakes, not like waiting till everything is perfect, just doing every day, doing something to move my business forward. And it goes. Eventually it takes off or not, and you'll know.
Exactly.
Never know unless you do. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Great. Thank you so much. Hold on for 1 second, okay? All right. Thank you so much for listening to that episode of the Support is Sexy podcast. And I do hope that you got some inspiration from it. And the challenge is for you to do at least one thing. Take one thing from the episode, at least one thing. You can always do more, but at least one thing that will help you move one step closer to your dream. Whether that's launching a business, writing a book, whatever that thing is that you want to do, take something from this episode and move one step closer. And what I'll also ask of you, if you can tell me what you think about the episodes, what we've been doing, what you want to hear, what you like, what you experience while you're listening, go over to iTunes, leave us a review, and let me know what's going on. What are you thinking? What are you feeling about the show? What else can I do to be of service to you, which is what this is all about, to be of support to you. That's our buzzword, right? You can also go to my website, elaynefluker.com/podcast. So that's ELAYNEFLUKER.com/podcast. Hear more episodes there. Also have a bunch of great videos, tons of information. It's where I'm going to be spending a lot of time, and it's where I love to connect with you. So again, thank you so much for listening. I truly appreciate you and your support. And the most important thing I want you to remember is having it all does not mean doing it all alone. So now, go out there and create something sexy, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.